Hi guys, today we are going to have a think about changing our climate in the area that we found our landform. So there are a couple of stages that you need to go through. First of all, you need to understand the formation of your feature. You also need to have a think what would be the dominant form of weathering. In this picture, we can see a very dominant form of weathering is likely to be biological weathering and chemical weathering. Pause this video and have a think what would happen if we made this climate drier or if we made this climate considerably colder. Would you have the same type of weathering? Would there be biological weathering and chemical weathering, or would this change? After you stop the video, turn it back on and we'll have a look at a specific example. Pause the video now. Hopefully you paused the video. So now we're going to have a look at a glacial environment. Here, because of the temperatures that vary between plus and minus 0 degrees centigrade, mechanical weathering, or specifically freeze-thaw weathering, would be very dominant. For the purposes of this slide, we're going to call this the purple zone. In this sort of environment, where you would have sharp rock called scree, this is because freeze-thaw weathering has pushed and cracked the rock apart. There is very little chemical weathering here because the temperatures are not high enough. That means the rock will remain quite sharp. We've called this the purple zone because here you can see that the climate is in the purple zone. Average temperatures of around about 0 degrees centigrade to minus 10 degrees centigrade. This means there'll be times in the year when it's above 0 degrees centigrade and below 0 degrees centigrade. So in this environment, where there is some precipitation, we would expect the purple zone. In the purple zone, you can see that there is strong physical weathering. Depending on the temperature, if it's a little bit warmer, there may be moderate physical weathering. Or if it's super cold, there may be less weathering, in this case moderate physical weathering. We will call this the purple zone. Pause the video now and have a think about your environment. Hopefully you paused the video. Now we're going to look at a tropical environment. This is warm and humid all year round. We will call this the yellow zone. In this sort of environment, you are very likely to see smooth rock surfaces. If it's limestone, you will have strong chemical weathering and features called limestone karsts. If it's granite, in the case of Hong Kong, again it will be the yellow zone because we haven't changed the climate, but you are likely to see granite tours. Granite tours were seen on our field trip. Notice in both of these photographs there is no scree and no sharp rocks. That's because there is very limited mechanical weathering. So on this graph you can see strong chemical weathering is in tropical wet or monsoon areas. This is the yellow zone. Pause the video now and think which zone, yellow or purple, would apply to your climate. Hopefully you paused the video and thought about changing your climate. Now you need to get climate graphs for your zone. You need to find out the temperatures and the total rainfall. You need to locate your weathering zone based on your climate graph here. Which colour does your zone fall under? You need to locate your example, find out what the climate is like, and find out which zone it falls into. Here is an example. Helvan, which is in the Lake District and is a cold area. Here we have an erect peak. So I typed in climate Helvan. When you do this, you will see that sometimes you cannot locate your feature. You might need to look for the nearest large city. Nevertheless, I know that this area, from the climate diagram, the temperatures, the average temperature and the average rainfall, it's in the green zone. So I can locate my feature on the green zone. Stop the video and have a think about which zone from your climate data your land feature would fall into. Stop the video now. So you've stopped the video and we're going to change the zone now. So in our example, we're going to change the zone from purple to yellow. Here's what would properly happen. Here you can see this picture is the purple zone. We've changed the climate, made it hotter and made it wetter, and now we've changed the climate to the yellow zone. You will see that we've now changed from scree and sharp rocks to tors in the case of granite. Notice also we've got a plant down there, so we're going to have some biological weathering. Pause the video now and think, what would the difference be if this rock was not granite but limestone? Hopefully you have paused the video. Other factors that you could change: rivers. You could make the river bigger or smaller, or you could take the river away or put a river through your feature. Rock type. You could make the rock softer or harder. In coastal areas, you could make the waves bigger or smaller, constructive or destructive. Think what the effect would be on weathering and erosion if you change each factor.